Welcome to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavana Raghavan.
You are in a musical mood today, Sudeep. But I can still excuse the musical mood, but you're getting the lyrics all wrong.
Yeah,
It's,
no,
hello, mister, how do you do, right?
correct. That's how the old song goes.
Uh,
But since I wanted to talk about a very specific topic, I have taken the liberty to say, hello, mister, what do you do?
okay. What's
Yeah.
this episode?
Okay. So this emerges out of one of the speeches that I heard. I was part of a leadership conclave in Pidilite, and every year the top managers go to particular location, do some workshop, etc., etc. One of the best things to happen is that we used to invite some eminent speakers to speak to us. Yeah, usually it is one business speaker and one sports speaker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or sometimes business, sometimes somebody else, or sometimes sports, somebody else. We've had people like, for example, Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, General VK Singh, Pullela Gopichand, Gary Kirsten, etc., to come and speak to us.
Right.
And on the business side, obviously, all sorts of eminent leaders. This one time we had Mr. Rajiv Bajaj
Okay.
as a speaker, and I've heard when I researched later, I heard that he prepares very well, and I could really see the evidence of it that day.
It prepares for
And
even these talks that he gives.
These talks, yeah. He
Wow.
has this whole prepared thing, and I can tell you that that was one of the most wisdom dense speeches that I've heard in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was a good one, and one of the things that he spoke about multiple principles, his relationship with science and yoga and stuff like that. Yeah, in lessons for marketing, lessons for innovation, from all of these things. Yeah.
Okay.
So he got lessons from yoga into marketing. Okay, lessons from Ayurveda into marketing. Okay, we'll talk about it in some other episode, maybe, or maybe towards the end of this one. He spoke about also spoke about, for example, yeah, you know, the the fact some incidents that happened that gave him much more clarity in life. Okay. And he spoke of this specific incident that happened with a Japanese gentleman. He said that his father, Mr. Rahul Bajaj, used to invite people working who were earlier working with Honda to come and speak to these guys, because they were very impressed by how Honda operates, especially on the innovation side and the quality side, etc. Right. So Mr. Rajiv Bajaj was asked to, meet this gentleman on his arrival to India. Somebody who had served in Honda for a very long period of time was coming to India, and Mr. Rajiv Bajaj.
Talk, or was it for some other?
For a few days of factory visit.
Okay.
And just
overall advisory,
talking about how Honda works and what can they learn from Honda, etc., etc. Right. So, and before narrating this incident, he asked all of us, what is your role in the organization? Right. Now, this seems like a fairly obvious question, and that is what we are going to talk about. And the reason I'm saying it is obvious, but it still needs discussion, is that everybody that you'll speak to knows their designation. But do they really know their role? That's the topic of today's discussion. Because when company hires you, more often than not, they tell you this is your designation. Right. And you sort of intuitively try and guess what the role is, what the role would be about, or you see people around you, right? However, having gone through Mr. Bajaj's talk and then having reflected on it multiple times, I can tell you that your designation might remain same for several years, but you might be performing different roles.
True. Very true.
Right? And the other way around also. So your designation might change. You might keep becoming senior, but you might be performing the same role.
Yeah.
right?
Like you mentioned, after coming to marketing, you sit with the Excel sheets, continue to be the sales manager.
Correct. Because that's where you derive your comfort,
Yeah.
right? So let me start with the story that Mr. Bajaj narrated. He said that he was asked to greet this gentleman as he arrives into the hotel. Mr. Bajaj met him, introduced himself, and obviously, like all of us, said that I'm the managing director of the company.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the first question that he got faced, and he was quite amazed and shocked at the question he faced, was that this guy said, "Okay, Mr. MD or Mr. Managing Director, what's your role?" Anybody would be stumped with that question,
Of course.
right? So he was sort of confused. So he said that I work on company strategy. Okay. Now this guy says, "Oh, okay. So you make strategy presentations for Bajaj." So Mr. Bajaj sort of felt insulted. He said, "No, no. I work on new products." Okay. So this guy says, "Oh, okay. So you are the product designer, right?" So for everything he offered, uh, the other guy would come down to the very core basic definition of that work,
Right.
because to him designation did not matter,
Right.
right? What you do is what mattered. So now RB was thoroughly confused.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mr. Rajiv Bajaj said that I don't know what to tell this guy. So he said that okay, why don't we meet tomorrow, right?
Hmm.
And in the morning, give me an answer of what is your role.
Hmm.
Yeah. But before leaving for the day, let me give you this example. Okay. And he might have offered him this olive branch because he saw Mr. Rajiv Bajaj was having an existential crisis. Right. So, so
You go to
he
the
said,
MD and say, "What do you do?"
what is it?
I love that.
Yeah. So he said that Mr. Honda,
Hmm.
the original founder,
Hmm.
was a designer at heart. Right.
Okay.
So he said that he would always roam around with a designer's pencil, a pen, and a draft in his belt,
Oh, wow.
right? And wherever he would find a design, while he would talk to people all around, but he'd be really, really passionately working on design the year all day long, right? He would work with the design team. Wherever he will see some design being put up, he will go and study it, try and improve it, etc., etc., right? So
Right.
while he would do a lot of things, the one thing that he would passionately do multiple times during the day is design, right? So, and he said, so therefore, let's talk tomorrow about what is your role, right?
Before you reveal that, I'm just trying to
Uh-huh.
get to the crux of the examples to say if the MD of the company, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Hotta, is going around and doing fidgeting with the designs, it says your designation is something that you will keep. And there are some corporate responsibilities that you will sign off on and challenge and everything. But it also signals that you've got to be rooted to how you're tangibly contributing to the business and what your
Correct.
core area of expertise is, and not to
Correct.
lose touch with that contribution that you're going to make to the company.
I'll come to the core area of expertise in a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I think we'll get some perspective. Now we can both imagine what a night it would have been for Mr. Rajiv Bajaj after getting this existential question late at night. But the next day morning, he was ready with an answer, or that's what Mr. Bajaj had us believe on that particular day. And he went and told the Japanese gentleman that I am an improvement manager, right? I help people improve their performance by reviewing their processes or their outputs.
Okay.
Yeah. And he could see that the old gentleman was happy with the answer. Yeah, he could finally see that there was some clarity in
Finally.
this young boy's mind. There was one more last question that he wanted to ask, and this is an important question that we would want all our audience to think about.
Uh-huh.
He said, how many improvements did you make yesterday? Right?
That's a hard question.
It's a hard question, right? So the core point there was that one, you must define what role do you play on a day-to-day basis, right? On the most frequent manner. You might be might be doing multiple things, but what do you do most frequently? Right. Number Two is you must also appraise yourself as to how many times were you able to do your role. Yeah, every day. Yeah. Now, to your earlier point, right, about what is your core expertise,
Right.
right? Let me build upon that by giving an example. Yeah.
Sure.
Now, and this is for our audience now. So, if you're a product manager by designation,
Hmm.
right? So, if your product is still under conceptualization, right? So, therefore, in the early stages, your role, your designation is product manager, but your role actually possibly is an insight manager,
Mhm.
right? Now, as the project gets underway, and now you're chasing multiple teams, you actually possibly become the coordinator. That's your role,
Go, go.
right? And then once the product is launched, it is already live and people are experiencing it, then you possibly become an improvement manager, right?
This is what it meant by the designation staying the same and your role continuing to evolve.
And also not being just defined by your core expertise, but also by recognizing what does the organization need, what does the team need at that point in time. Yeah,
Because it's
how
not
can you
just
best
about you,
contribute?
it's
Yeah,
about what is needed in the
yeah,
organization.
yeah. So therefore what is needed at that point in time is what you do, right? A similar reflection, Sharon, I find in multiple ways when I think about it. So there is this theory about wartime CEO and peacetime CEO.
Right.
Yeah, the designation is still the same, but the times that the organization is going through determine what kind of a CEO would you be. Yeah, what is it that you will be? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will now find.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the obvious one I can think of is the janitor telling JFK,
Yeah,
what are you doing at NASA?
correct,
Says, I'm working to put a man on the moon.
correct. Seriously.
And
And there are multiple examples. There's this so the key is that one must not get trapped by the standard definition of designations, and therefore it becomes important for you to understand what all does your designation entail, what part of it is really needed by the organization, and so therefore what of it will add the maximum value if done by you, and therefore what of it can you be doing on a frequent basis, such that it takes your team, your organization to the next orbit
right.
in the fastest possible manner.
I completely agree with you. Just that this brings me to the point saying, yes, and my role needs to change. But how do I know that my role needs to change? And for this, I kind of go to Simon Sinek,
Hmm.
and where he articulated the why, the what,
Huh.
the how, and the why. The
Huh.
moment you know why you're doing something,
Hmm.
then the how and the what don't matter. And if your
Okay.
job is to get something done for the company, you don't bother about the skills you have. Just go about figuring out the how and the what. And I think he made a colossal mistake by positioning it as a brand thing.
Hmm.
That's where the entire brand purpose nonsense comes about, because
Hmm.
it's not about picking a UN issue and saying, that's my purpose. It is an internal purpose for people in the system to know what is your role and how are you contributing to the company. And once you know why that is happening, then you know what are the extremes you need to push to get things done.
Correct.
To
So I
put it
was approaching
simply,
it from a people point of view. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
This comes to even Munnabai says the same thing, right? Munnabai tells the janitor who's so upset, saying, you are helping others study by keeping everything clean.
Clean.
And
Correct.
immediately the janitor turns around.
Correct.
So from Simon Sinek to Munnabai to Rajiv Bajaj and JFK,
Correct. All of them are telling us the same thing.
same
So
thing.
I think from a marketer point of view, it becomes important. Too often, the marketers tend to get stuck into this rut of saying that I didn't do marketing, or I didn't come into the team to do this or just this,
Right.
right? And that's where I think the clarity around why are you doing what you're doing, and therefore how do you make the boat go faster, yeah, and therefore what is the role that you need to play at that point in time becomes important. And then
Right.
over a period of time you start growing a sense of what is needed from you, and the ecosystem around you also gives you that feedback when you need to change your role, right? I
Right.
think that realization possibly is very critical.
And if I can take it to the philosophical, spiritual level,
Mm-hmm.
that's what Krishna says about dharma.
Mm.
What your role is, do it without expecting the fruits of your labor.
Mm.
And doing your karma is your dharma.
Correct. Well said. Well said. So if you know your role, you will always rock in.
Thank you for listening to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavana Raghavan. Subscribe and learn more at cobcast.net.